everybody, and welcome to Gen Friends. I'm your host, Sherry Hudson Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and I've got a fabulous panel. As usual, we've got Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy and from the Applied Genealogy Institute.
Yes.
Genealogy Institute. I always want to say genealogical.
It is
Genealogy Institute.
genealogy. Yes.
We have got Dr. Shelley Murphy, our family tree girl. Hello, Shelley.
Hi,
I'm
hailing from the Blue Ridge
That's
Mountains in
right.
Virginia.
Absolutely. We've got
Yes.
Melissa Barker, our archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, everybody. So glad to be here.
Glad you're here too. And Laura Hedgecock's here from Treasure Chest of Memories. Where's Penny, Laura?
I don't know, Penny.
A sidekick.
The
Probably
sidekick.
he'll probably
Exactly.
wander in.
Yeah. Well, we are going to talk about season 14, day 6 today.
All
But
right.
before we get started, there's some breaking news that somebody posted and the fans of, no, I think it's a Relative Race Live. I'll put the link. I'll put the link in the blog post and on this video. Apparently, there has been a breaking news with McDonald's and a reason why their ice cream machines are always down. And apparently, according to this link they posted, the machine parts are copyrighted by the company that makes the machines. And so McDonald's is not allowed to fix them themselves. They have to get the parts from the company. And of course, that hasn't been happening. They haven't been shipping them to them. So they went to court about it. And there was a court order saying that they could use whatever parts
Oh my
they
God.
needed to fix the machine. So if that's true and not a fake story, maybe your local McDonald's will start having their McFlurries back again pretty soon. So anyway, I thought
I think that is
I'm
public
a
true.
bad person. I've
public,
never had one.
yeah. I
I
had one
have heard that
when I was
before
a
that
kid.
that no one else was allowed to make the spare parts but the
Yeah,
manufacturer. I
yeah.
have.
Okay, you've heard that before. Okay, Laura is confirming the story. So anyway, just breaking news I thought y'all might want to know. Anyway, so we are, like I said, talking about day 7. So we had a lot of our
Day
predictions
seven?
of day 6. Sorry, day 6, a relative race. I got ahead of myself. Oh, a lot of our
We
predictions came
got you.
true, which we will. Yeah, you guys are. Thank you. You got to keep me on task, on straight. So Team Red was coming off their 4th win, and they had to choose somebody else who could get the 3 minutes. So they got to do that, and Team Green needed to get out of the last place. So they had They had to beat somebody in the challenge. So there's Penny. There goes Penny. Anyway, so she did a drive-by. Um, so we had some really interesting uh, meetings last week that kind of carried on at the beginning, like it normally does. Laura met that cousin who's looking for her father. And that was so touching as she was, I'm going to find him for you. Whether it's, on this race or afterwards, we are going to get together and we are going to find your dad. It's just so sweet. It's a sweet story, and I love it when Relative Race does things like this. We've got
Yes.
let's see what else was going on at the very beginning as they were leaving. I don't know how Joby was leaving her brothers. I just
The twins, I wouldn't have
oh
left. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And she just kept saying, I'm home. We belong
Yeah.
together. We fit
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
But
and I wrote down Vic
yeah,
said it hurt to leave. Like
Yeah.
it
yeah,
wasn't
Yeah.
just her.
yeah. But they knew
Yeah.
that they had more people to meet. So,
Yeah.
they had to, and then that money
Yeah.
is, at stake at the end. What else do we have? Oh, and Laura also took the picture of her cousin and put that
Oh
in
yeah,
the book. Yeah, the book. Somebody got a book that was put together. Oh, that was Jonathan.
Daniel got
That was
or
Blue Team.
Jonathan
Jonathan got
a
got
photo book.
Yeah.
yeah, got a photo book, which was really, really sweet. I thought that was really, really sweet. So, and then they got their text messages about where they were going.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize,
Two
I guess,
teams in NOLA.
right, 2 teams. I guess it clicked. I thought they got individual texts. I don't know why I didn't realize they all
I
got the
didn't
same.
realize it till this time either that
Yeah.
they got those, but
They
maybe in the
all got the
past, yeah.
same where everybody was
Yeah,
going.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I didn't
Yeah, I
know
realize
didn't
that.
know that either. Yeah.
because they said, "Oh, we're both going the same place." Yeah. So that
But
was
again, I want to comment on that. And
yeah.
I think I mentioned this once before. for some reason, the planning and stuff seems to be better this year.
Maybe,
with
except for
the
Team Red keeps
locations
going back
of
and forth and back and
these
forth to the same.
Yes, yeah.
They're not going
And
Gotta
very
wear
far.
out the road.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. The
But
car
it
could
just
drive
seems
itself.
like it's more
Yeah,
on
maybe more on
and
point. Yes. So there's less time driving. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Less
which
time
is
driving for
good in
just
my
yeah.
opinion,
I think so
you
too.
know.
I think so
Yeah.
too. But yeah, so I thought that
But
was
kudos
interesting.
to staff and
For
folks,
getting all that together, for getting
Yeah.
all that together. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Logistics.
and I was trying to, I know that when we were live tweeting, somebody asked the question, has a team ever gone to the same place and done the challenge together before? And I'm pretty sure it's
It
happened
has
before, but I
happened.
Yeah.
I
can't
can't remember,
remember.
but I know it's happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
yeah.
had the head-to-head thing
The
going on.
stage. They were dressing
Maybe.
it. This is a while
And they
ago.
had the same teams at the same place. I
I
just don't
think they went to
remember.
Old Theater or
Yeah,
something.
I just and you're probably 100% correct. I just don't remember. I just know that it has happened before. It's
Yeah.
happened before. So the name of the challenge was on the red carpet, which they're
Working the red carpet.
yeah, walking the red carpet, which
Walking,
they're
No,
keeping
working.
they're working.
working.
Okay, they're
Working the red
Working,
carpet.
yeah, working.
they're keeping that. Thank you, Melissa. They're she says, no, it's working.
You
I
know,
believe
she
her.
took note.
I know. So they're keeping with that, movie theme is what they're doing. So it was harder than it looked. To me, I thought it was harder than they
I
looked
don't
because
know how they walked backwards on that little balance beam
without
thing
falling off.
without, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't walk. I can't walk in a straight line without it. So
I can't even-
I wouldn't have been able to go forward
I
with that.
agree.
Yeah. I'd have
Like
trouble
they were
walking
little
forwards on
plastic.
that theme.
What'd you say, Laura?
Plastic with, yes, that was
Yes,
the other
I think they
issue.
were lightweight. I think that made
Yeah,
it more
that's true.
unstable.
The glasses were just
challenge.
plastic, or else they'd be glass everywhere. They
Yeah.
had to be careful. But I
Yeah.
think Team Black started off really smart because Joby ran over and started opening up all the bottles while Vic was
Right.
starting to stack. And I thought that probably saved some time.
Save them a little
Yeah,
bit of time.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
enough. Yeah, yeah. They had to pour it. And so they were pouring it from the top, and everything was getting everywhere for all the teams. It was really funny.
Yeah. I wondered how much extra soda that was putting on the tray. I mean,
Oh,
to me,
that's
A
that
lot.
true.
would be
That's
a
a
problem.
point. That's a
Yeah.
point. That's a
And it
good.
was going off of the tray onto the floor. And so I'm worried
Yeah,
about being
But it didn't
slick.
look like
Yeah.
anything was falling on the floor.
it was a
Even
mess.
though we saw it, but
Yeah, looked like a
it would be
mess.
real slippery then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
Yeah.
was worried about that balance beam too as they were
Yeah.
going with it. But they found a couple of the teams found that if they would slide the tray off the table and then slide instead of trying to put it
Yeah.
down, that
Yeah.
helped.
And
Yeah.
then the slowing down
Yeah,
to really
just a little
slow
bit.
and the focus,
Yeah.
instead of
Nobody
trying to
and nobody
hurry.
did it in one try. They all took at least two.
Yes.
Some of
And the
Yeah.
them.
black team, they got theirs almost on the table and it,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that
Okay,
was.
but the big question is it going in the book? Is it a good
Yeah,
challenge?
I think so. I
I
think it
think
would
that
be
I
would
good.
think
be fun
so.
at a family reunion.
I
Yeah,
think
on the
that's something you
ground.
could
think
easily
it would
set
be.
up too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
set
And the
up.
balance beam wouldn't be hard to make.
No.
Nah, no, I think that one would work on the grass outside somewhere. So if they
We
did
need to
spill,
invite Simone to come and do
have
the
her do it on the balance
balance
beam. There we go.
Yeah.
There we
She'd be
go.
doing the flips and not
Yes,
the
yes.
And unfortunately, Team Red really, really struggled with this one.
They did. But
What
it's
surprised
almost
me
like
Go ahead.
anxiousness.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
because I thought timeout was 15 minutes and they took over 20, but they said we didn't time out.
We didn't
They
time out. That's a
didn't.
good point. Maybe they
So I was
stretched the time
curious if
out this time.
yeah, whether timeout depends on the challenge, but
Maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they said at least we didn't time out. Yeah, they really struggled, but Precious did say that she has problems with her balance normally.
Yeah,
So
she
Oh,
did.
that might have
and
come into play.
one other thing about timeout
Uh-huh.
is they took over 20 minutes.
Ah.
So if they time, I mean, if timeout was 15 minutes, they would have been
Mhm.
5 minutes less
Yeah,
right,
on, which really could make a huge difference.
true.
right.
The time. So I'm really
Yeah.
curious about the timeout,
Yeah.
what that timeout rule is, whether it varies by
Yeah.
challenge and
That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
how
a
much
good
that'll
it
be a
point.
good
is.
question. If anybody,
Yeah,
watching, if any of
of
the teams
course.
are watching, let us know the answer. But that's a good question that we can ask as we get the teams on at the end to see,
Yeah.
because you're right. It seems like they let them go a lot longer than normal. So I don't know. So
Well,
it might have
I,
something to do with the challenge. Laura?
I think I think we've only had timeout in more recent years. It used to be like
And
they
maybe you're
really
right.
get hung up
That's
there.
right. Maybe they
The
did
time just
because
ran. Yeah,
everybody kept going past their time. Yeah.
yeah,
Perhaps
yeah.
they
So,
decided to
but I
give them
agree
more.
with Mary. Like
Yeah.
it's a strategic decision on
Yeah.
how much time do you want people that have one bad challenge to lose.
Right. Right.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it must have been hard for them to see Team Blue to be doing it in the same room because
Yeah.
normally you have no idea
Yes.
how the other teams are doing. But
Team
they,
Blue was very gracious about it, though.
yeah, it could have been, except for the end when they said Team Red got wet.
Yeah.
So, but
Blue
yeah,
Sharks.
yeah.
That pressure had to be different with the two
Yes,
teams
I
at the
think so
same place.
too. I agree
Yeah,
with you. The pressure had to
yeah.
be so much different, and to see them get done, and leave must have been really, really hard. Really, really hard. But it's okay because I think meeting the relatives made up for that. So, all right, y'all. Who wants to talk about which team and who they met?
All right, I want to talk about Team Green.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so she
Yes.
met her cousin Matthew Phillips. Was it
Mike
Michael.
Phillips.
Michael
Michael.
Phillips? Excuse me,
But all they
Michael
said at
Phillips.
the beginning
Yeah,
was Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And so she talked to him, and then kind of got it out of him that it was
I
Phillips,
think
or that
everybody
she met her
watching was
cousin.
going, "Hey, Laura, Laura!"
I mean, pull out the phone, get on the road. What are you doing?
Yeah, Laura, do you know who you're sitting with? That was quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe she didn't. I mean, she didn't show up. That there wasn't that. Maybe it'll be tomorrow morning, or
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
um,
Why didn't they have her walk in? I don't,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah. I
it
mean,
we have to see that.
so he was the Michael Phillips that she was asking last week. If you meet Michael Phillips, tell him his daughter
Is looking
can
Well,
for
meet
I'm not
him.
him.
sure. I'm not sure about logistics, but let's think about this. That was actually the day before.
Mhm.
And where they were the day before was in Clarksville, Tennessee. And
That's
then they were
right.
in Memphis, Tennessee the next day. Well, that's about a 4 hour drive.
3.5 hours was their time change.
Yeah, but they could
That's
have,
what they
Oh,
said.
they
So
Yeah,
could
it's
have.
still,
it's about a 3.5. Yeah.
Relative race
Yeah.
could have put
but
has
it's her
gotten her there.
they
daddy.
knew.
Relative race could have
Race
gotten her
knew.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and even, I mean, well, they had one of the Team Green had one of the longer journeys
Yeah,
Journeys.
at
Yeah.
3.5 hours. It was
yeah,
probably the longest last night. But if you leave at 11, you get there at 2:30.
exactly. There you go. There you go, Mary. Tell him.
We can still squeeze it in that hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope they have her show
We'll
up.
see what happens
I hope
tomorrow
she showed
or
up
towards the
later
end.
so they can record it, so us
Yeah.
they can't leave us hanging like that.
No,
They just can't. And he was so excited. What an exciting guy he was.
he had a lot of energy.
Yeah,
He
he's
had a
got
lot of
cut from the
energy,
same
just
cloth
like her.
as
Yes.
LJ. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But that was really sweet. But I think all the viewers were probably going, Laura, do you understand who you're talking to? Hello, hello, hello. And then they put his name across for us to see.
We saw it.
We'll have to
Yes.
ask her when she comes on, did you know and you just didn't show it or.
Mhm. Or is it just the way they cut it? The
Yeah,
way
could have
they
been.
edited it. Yeah, it could be.
But I
So
mean, knowing her and her enthusiasm too, I'm surprised she just did go, ah, that's what she
yeah,
said.
exactly.
Even
She
when he said
was
his name was
kind of
Mike,
calm.
you know.
Right.
She
And then they were,
almost was too calm.
yeah,
Know.
yeah. And they're outside. They do a little video of Laura and Pam going, yeah, and talking about how he's like, well, we knew his name was Mike, but it took us a while to figure out it was Michael, and then we asked him what his last name was, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is charismatic. I was like dying laughing. But yeah, so and he's all, I want
That's
to
a
be there.
new twist, isn't it, for
Yeah,
relative race for something like this?
this is yeah, it's I mean they've
I
had
think this is probably the first
Mhm.
time, you
I think
know,
yeah, I do. I think this is the first time
I
they've had
think this is
somebody
the
like
first
that.
time of,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's been other people that were also adopted, but
Right. That we're looking for connections.
wasn't
Yeah.
the same how this one went
Yeah.
down looking for her father
You're right. Yeah, I
and this,
think you're
that, and
right,
other.
Shelley. So they
Yeah.
better. I don't want that to be a, well, we'll find out later that, in a couple of months they met
They're
each other.
gonna
No,
string
no,
it
no,
out.
no,
Come
no,
on.
relative race. You better
Yes.
have the meeting. We are demanding it.
They know we're sitting on the edge waiting for this reunion.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm already gonna cry. I
I
just
know. I know. I
you
know.
know
So
it's coming.
that
Yeah.
that was so fun. And we figured last week it would happen, but I didn't realize it was gonna happen the very next day. Who knew it was
Yeah.
gonna happen the very next day? So but Laura Jean also got to find out about other people in her family and the
Yeah.
connections and learn about her grandmother and all those kind of things. So for
Yeah.
her it was, and maybe that's why it took her a few minutes because she was so into putting the pieces together for her family. Maybe that's why it took a little bit for her to realize who she was talking to and that he was in fact the dad. And I loved his reaction. I thought he was so sweet about it.
It
Yeah, I
was
have a
cool.
daughter that I've never met. And then he was like, "Oh, of course I want to meet her. I want to meet her." So
Wait, did they show the picture of her to him?
they
No,
may have, but I didn't, they didn't see,
we
they didn't
didn't
No,
see
show
it
it.
We
though.
she
didn't
had
see
the
it.
picture. She got it that morning. It was
Yeah,
just
so she
Yes,
had
it
it.
was.
So
Yes.
maybe that's part of what we'll see is them,
Yeah.
seeing the picture and then maybe her walking in the door and all that kind of stuff. So let's hope.
That's a good way to start the
Let's
next
hope.
today's
Let's hope,
episode.
right? All right. Who wants to take another team?
I
Anyone?
can take Black.
Okay.
So they got to Dayton, Ohio. They left the fine state of Michigan and went south. Great shot down I-75. And they met this tall, slender man they
Yes.
named Uncle Chris.
Yeah.
But interestingly, he had only met Joby's mom once.
They were half siblings.
They
Yeah.
were
Yes.
half siblings, and
Yeah.
he had grown up in Charleston, South
And
Carolina.
Charleston. Yeah. Yep. Oh,
And
oh!
his
I think he
dad,
still lives there.
Yeah, he still lives there.
but what was really interesting, his dad was Joby's grandpa,
Right. Right.
Right.
and they
Maternal.
were in the recording
The
business.
commercials.
He
Yeah.
recorded commercials, so he had these beta and VHS, but
That
beta.
television that they had on the little coffee
I
table.
don't know that they
the
actually
style.
on that television or if that was like a production trip, but
Probably was. That was hysterical.
Love it.
they had tapes of her grandfather doing commercials.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was pretty sure maybe she'd seen a couple of them and like
Yeah.
he was coming out of the corn
Yeah.
or was
Some of
it?
them were for national products.
All right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. How cool is that?
It was very cool because they were saying it's not just because you have that vitality to it. You get to
Mhm.
see their mannerisms and hear their voice. So
Oh,
it's
of
more than a
course.
photo. And so that was a pretty cool thing
That
just
was
to
a
have
pretty cool
that little voice from the
thing.
past to kind
Yeah.
of
And his voice was kind of gravelly a little bit and kind of reminded me of Joby's voice.
Yeah.
I heard
yeah.
him, I thought,
So she's got granddaddy's and mama's voice.
yeah, that is her maternal grandfather. So it just was
Yeah.
passed down through the line. And
But
Vic
limited
again was
voice.
just as touched,
Yeah.
that was his great grandfather, and he was just as touched to watch those
Yeah,
videos.
and it was
Yeah,
really for him too because he's so young. That's like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
they
Look at
recorded.
detail.
And I was thinking, why aren't these digitized?
Yes.
These
Relative
tapes
rate, get those
today.
digitized. And maybe they did, and that's what we were seeing with the clips, you
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
And so maybe,
But I
yeah,
love the VHS shown.
that
I
was
mean,
so funny.
the box. We all got a box with some VHS
And where
tapes
did they
in
get
it.
that television? That just cracked me up.
That's why I thought the TV was like maybe
Yeah. Yeah, because yeah. where'd they get that? It probably was a prop, but it was an hysterical prop. I thought that was so funny. Really added to the whole ambiance, the whole story.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say about Team Black other than just she's just precious with everybody that she meets and just is just loving this process.
And the role has changed for her because remember last episode and episode before, her whole dream was to meet her father.
Yeah.
And look at the role she's in now with that cousin.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Now
help
she's
you,
oh,
because
you
she
mean
got her daddy, and that was it. She,
you mean
far as
Team
she
Green?
she won,
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
aspect. But now she's in the role,
Yeah, you mean Team Green, you mean Laura. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
who did I say? I'm sorry.
Because we were
Well, we
talking
had been
about
talking about
we had
Team
been
Black.
yeah, we've been talking about Team Black, and so but
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
That's all
But I'm
right.
just talking about the change of the role, her
Yeah, it's
helping
true. Her
and
helping.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's great.
yeah.
All righty. Who wants to do, we haven't done red. Who wants to do
You,
Team?
red or blue?
Yeah.
Team Red met Precious met her brother DeAndre.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Her
so, and
little
got to see
brother.
pictures of her mom, and they look like just
Yes.
exactly alike.
It looks like
Yes. And I thought she was
Yeah,
so cute. I have a little brother.
I know.
She loved that. She
Yeah,
loved
she really
that.
did.
now, hasn't she been the baby with the other ones that she met?
I think so. I think
And
so
so
on her,
it's
maybe on her mom's
DeAndre, the
side.
younger one
So
now.
I
I
mean,
think,
on her dad's side, I think she might be the youngest on her dad's side. I might be wrong,
yeah,
but she's definitely not. The brother looks like he's the youngest on her maternal side. So
maternal side. Yeah,
yeah. And again, she's so cute. She's so happy that, she's
yeah,
meeting all these people and she's saying the same thing too, is I just feel this connection. I just feel like I belong and and
Hmm.
they were in production. He was in real estate. He was doing into old cars, and she said that
yeah.
that's what she does. She helps people with their businesses. So, and she does some real estate. So
Hmm.
I thought that was interesting that they were doing kind of the same. It's just so odd, and not odd, but just so interesting how they have so much in common when they didn't know each other, didn't grow up together, didn't live in
Yeah.
the same households. That interest just
DNA.
But we see that a lot with
yes.
these teams when they meet their relatives, and it's funny that they capture it on video because it's I know they do a lot of video, but there's
Right.
so little of it that makes TV. And
Yeah.
Right.
so and then it makes us as genealogists think about, well, what do I do that my
Yeah.
ancestors did?
Absolutely.
I can't talk to them and I can't see them,
Yeah.
a lot of them, to see
Yeah.
them to what traits or what they're doing. We can maybe find occupational records if they have same kinds of
Mm-hmm.
occupation
Mm-hmm.
or some of their interests if they're parts of civic groups or social groups. But
Their
it
musical
always
talent.
interests me,
Yeah.
yeah, to see what they have
Remember
in
the
common.
singing from
Yeah.
another
Oh
all of
yeah.
them were
Yeah.
singing
Yeah.
singers?
But
Yeah.
singing music, musical talents within
Yeah.
family is something that I followed a lot, especially my husband's family.
Mm-hmm.
My family has absolutely no musical talent. In his family, I'm serious, almost every single person that is in the bloodline has a musical talent. They can play an
Wow.
instrument, they can
Right.
sing, they
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
and they've had his father has made an album and
Oh,
they had
wow.
groups and all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
and you can go back far, 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 and it's in his family, and it's recorded in records, it's in
Yeah.
diaries and different things. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's just neat to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my
agree.
husband's family is the same. And I think it is both um, nurture
Mm-hmm.
and nature,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
certain types of things neurologically that make you better at being musical,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
but it's also learning the love of music
Right. Yeah.
from your
Exactly.
predecessors and
A little
stuff.
bit of
We
If you
both.
got
grew
to
up in a
love the
musical
music, but
family,
I
I think
can't.
you'd pick that up quicker maybe than if
Yes.
you didn't or something.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
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 It's
I'm
the same. Go
Mary?
ahead.
also interested in hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
My, I mean, I didn't realize it till I, saw videos of myself speaking, and here I'm doing it right now.
I
That
talk
I
with
move
my
my
hands too.
hands
I
in
hit
the
my
same way my
microphone all the
sister
time.
does. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I look just like Tori. And
Oh,
I'm sure I didn't model it after
yeah.
Tori,
Yeah.
but I wonder, which of my grandparents or great grandparents
Yes.
talk
yes.
with their hands like we
Yeah,
do. Where
exactly.
did that come from?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
where the oral history comes in.
Yeah, that's true too. Absolutely,
Yeah.
Shelley.
Yeah, but to describe my grandmother talk with her hands, I mean, I would
Yeah.
never even think to write that. Laura, how about you? Is that that's something that you
There you
recommend
go.
people
In
talk about?
stories, yeah,
Yeah.
our story expert.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have the kind of the stereotype that Italians talk. I mean, you hear
Oh,
more
right.
Yeah.
passionate people, but I think it would have something to do with their desire to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
as well as their being more of an extrovert as
Yeah.
well. So it tells a lot
Mhm.
about a person.
Yeah.
Love it.
This is so fun. Wow, we've got one other team, and I'm glad we left it to last because this was so
Yes.
cute. Shelley, do you want to talk to us? You haven't talked about Team Red.
Blue.
Yeah, tell us
Blue.
about who Daniel met.
Oh, I can't drag it out, right? Daniel met his daddy, and oh my gosh, you guys, was that not like twins?
That
Yeah.
was the
I mean,
cutest
their
Yeah.
meeting.
facial
Yeah,
structure, even body build,
yeah.
and I'm your dad, and
Yeah.
Well, when he
it
said
was
I'm
good.
Steve, you could see Daniel go,
Oh,
and just the
definitely.
way he said, he goes, Steve, like,
Yes,
yeah. I mean, it just was voice cracked, and he was the emotion was
yes,
there in his just
yes.
saying his name, but. I think that
But
was
I thought
the
it was
cutest meeting we've seen in
interesting
a long
too.
time. It was emotional, but it was so cute because yeah, it was just so cute.
But
Rather
coming back,
recognized. It's like I'm looking at the, two
just
of the same
double,
people.
just like
Right.
double, yeah.
Watching
And almost,
Jonathan watch them was funny too. Watching
yeah,
Jonathan be in awe of the two of them being so much alike, I thought was
sure,
really great.
sure. But it was interesting also to see them look like twins because at first I thought, oh, another, a
Yeah.
brother. And
Same
I said,
crew
oh
cut,
no.
same crew cut.
And
Yeah.
I said, no, no, that's daddy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff. But I am so happy for him. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm happy for everybody.
Yeah.
But, this journey he's on is just really amazing.
Hmm.
And then daddy knew.
Yeah. And he thought Daddy didn't
And I'm
know.
gonna leave it right there. Y'all can talk about that.
No, it's okay.
Daddy
You
knew.
can, Daddy knew, because
There's so
Daddy
very
knew.
few
Yeah.
parents that we come across with these teams
Right.
that knew. And so for
hmm
one of them to say, "Oh, I knew," it's
especially the
kind of like,
dad. Yeah,
"Oh,
dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I paused it. I was talking to my husband and I paused the show right then. And I said, he thought, in the last one
Yeah.
that his dad didn't know. And
Yeah.
how does that change the dynamic?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. How does that?
But he also knew he was being put up for adoption. Not
Yes.
only did he know she
Yeah.
was pregnant, he also, because he went, I
Right. He
think is
Yeah.
what
tried.
he
And
said, and that decision had already been made.
Yeah, it
yeah.
must have had something to do with the laws wherever he was born, because nowadays I don't think you can do that without parental consent, depending on the state. Laura?
What year do we think this was approximately?
I don't know. I have no idea how old.
well, he
I
looks to be
don't
in his
know how old
20s, doesn't
he
he?"
Yeah,
is.
I'd
Is
say
he in his 20s?
25-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so
want to say about 2000.
Yeah, you
yeah,
would
I'm surprised
even
too that it could be a
done
fatal
without
lie with,
parental consent. Yeah, so it has
yeah.
to have some. It's got to have something to do with, uh,
Well,
you know,
you got to know the state law no matter
right,
what.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make the difference. Is the state
Mary,
law.
that's your job.
Oh,
You didn't go look that up already.
I, okay, so what state was he adopted in,
I
we
Laura?
don't
know.
know. See, that's the problem. We're not
Um,
really sure where he was born or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
But
but remember how we were talking about talking with hands? They
yes.
had this thing where they rub their
yes.
they
Yes.
rub their buzz cuts.
Are we
True.
overdiagnosing that?
I know, and Johnny was like, "Are you doing that on purpose?" Like,
So that was so
But
funny.
but
But he
it
did
was
have that
just,
picture. Yeah, he had the picture of
yeah,
he
it
was
was just, he
just a
had
few
a
hours
newborn
old. It was a
picture of
newborn.
him,
Yeah, yeah,
and I try to put myself in the kid's shoes.
yeah,
Even, and this kid's heart is gold.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
agree
I
with
might have
you.
had some more questions,
Yeah.
again, but he's okay with all of this. I mean, they might have
He's just,
questions and
yeah,
we're
he's
not
just happy
seeing
that
it,
he's finding
but
Mary.
I'm just
I'm sorry.
so happy for him.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and the thing that he said, my adoptive father died when he was 63, and my father's 64. I'm picking up right where I left off.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. He was talking about the higher power and the details of that.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Just
Yes.
that was amazing. And then as I got together, we're talking about that story. Dan was talking about the miracles that happen, on
Yeah.
Relative Race, and we see that every season,
Yeah.
miracles. And so, yeah, it was a beautiful story. And he did learn a little bit more about his biological parents too, because he was able to see a picture of the two of them together.
That was
And yeah,
took it
and
right there.
What a beautiful couple.
right, and he said we lived together for a while, and then we broke up, and then she had you and gave you up for adoption before I could do anything. Because he did say that he and his parents would have adopted him.
Right.
He did say
Well,
that.
he went, and they said
And they
that
said it was too
the
late. Yeah.
paperwork and stuff was all done.
Yeah.
But he got a picture of him,
Yeah, at least
newborn picture.
yeah. And he did say I was just a young kid. Go ahead, Mary.
Well, and I just wanted to comment, because he's not going to get to meet his mom.
Right.
So as many different facets as he can see of her. And I
Mhm.
know, I mean, my mom's sister had one view of I lost my mom when I was 17
Exactly.
of my
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
But my dad had different things and different
Right.
impressions to say. So be able
That's
to get that fuller picture of his
yeah.
mom
Yeah.
is really,
Absolutely.
really neat.
Yeah, to be able to talk to somebody, that he at least it wasn't, I mean, they lived together long enough, they knew each other long enough that he is able to get those stories. And
Yeah.
he's probably got even more
And,
pictures
and
than
he's
that
in
that he
his
can
life
share.
now.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in his life
He's in his
now.
life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So
he's got daddy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
But
just
beautiful. All of the stories are very
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, they are, but I just his whole attitude was just so fun to watch him.
We're
You
gonna
know,
have to find out his age.
he just couldn't believe that he'd actually met his dad, and it was just amazing. So that was a beautiful moment. And he said the family is he and to him he said we're complete. The circle has been completed
Right.
because now I know about my mom and siblings and my dad. I think there's some more siblings that he hasn't met because that was a whole group of them. So there needs to be a big family moment for him where everybody is there, or they have some kind of reunion because he didn't hasn't met all those siblings that were in that picture.
Yeah.
And he's an only child on his dad's side. His dad didn't have any
Yes.
children.
That's
So
right.
Yes.
Yes, which I
That
thought,
was
I thought
another
was,
significant thing
yeah.
for
yeah,
him.
yeah, that was a really interesting find for him as well. So another fun group of meetings and
Love the show.
reunions. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
love the show.
absolutely. So of course then Dan has to come in and spoil the
Yes.
party because
Yeah.
but at least he's not giving strikes anymore. So we kind of forgive him for this now. Before it was like, ah, so he's handing out strikes, but so
Yeah.
we get there and we still don't know. So we're there and the teams are talking and Dan finally comes, but we didn't know at that point who was going to get that
Correct.
extra 3 minutes. And we don't know until Dan comes on and asks,
Right.
who are you going to
Well,
give
we
that
pretty
to?
much knew.
Well,
I
we
mean,
knew because they,
Well, we
they
all
kind of hinted at it,
guesstimated. Yeah.
but they could have changed once they realized what they had done, in the
Something could have
week they
happened
didn't
that
do
we didn't
well.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And at that point they knew how they didn't do they knew how they did in the
Right.
challenge, and they knew they didn't do well. And so that could have changed their minds too, but it didn't. And they chose Team Black and
They got 3 minutes
so they
off.
got 3 minutes off. So when we got to the point where they were talking about the challenge, because Team Green had to beat somebody in the challenge. They
Right.
did because poor Team Red came in
Red.
last place. So first time they'd come in last place for anything, I think. So I think they were shocked. But I remember at the beginning of the day, I think that Precious was again talking about this. She was just really tired. She was really tired. And I think she'd
They
mentioned
both,
that the day
I think
before.
they both said that they were tired.
Yeah, so I wonder if
But
that
I
had
imagine all of the teams
they're
are.
tired. Yeah, they don't get a lot of sleep because they stay up talking to their relatives, and then they got to get up and get packed and
Yeah.
get back on the road again, which is why I'm really glad that now that they're not having them drive for so long because they are exhausted. They're
And it
just,
might just depend on the family. I mean,
yeah.
the relatives and where they're at and all of that
If they
too.
stay up too
So,
late, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine Joby and Vic staying up really late with those twin
oh
brothers.
yeah.
They probably were up for a long, long time with those twin brothers. And whoever wins on this day um, doesn't get a penalty for day 7.
Right.
So, yeah, Laura, you're muted, hon.
Sorry, I was having a cough and
I
fit.
saw that. Okay.
The way they said
Live and
the
in living
benefit
color.
was a leg up
I
in
know.
the.
I wrote that down too. That's
I
got
just wonder
to
if they'll
be
be on
something.
stilts or something.
Something, right? Right. You never know with relatives, relative
Yeah.
race. Anything that Dan says has a double meaning to it, it seems like. So that'll be interesting to see what that's going to be. So with the results of the challenge, it was Team Green actually won it. Woohoo for Team Green.
Yeah.
Yes. For
And that was
first
just the
place
challenge. And then
on the challenge.
right,
Yes.
and then was black and blue and then red. So
Right.
that means because Team Green came out of the bottom, they could calculate the time. So who wants to tell us what the time, what the results were for day 6? Anybody?
Okay, so green, I didn't write down the time, but I
Well,
think
no,
it
you
was
don't have to tell us the time. Just who came in first.
okay.
That's all
So
good.
team green came
Yes.
in first, and then team black was at minus 6 minutes and 42 seconds after I think that was after they got the 3 minutes, which meant so
So
which is
black came
again
in second. Yeah.
to the argument that if they were
Right.
allotted 3.5 hours to get to Memphis and they came in 7 minutes early, there was more time to get the Kara down to Memphis.
Good job, Laura.
They're listening. Relative race is listening.
I love it. I love it. That's so great.
Okay, and then it was between blue and
Yeah.
red, and they
Uh-huh.
said team blue came it was safe.
Yeah. So even with their 3 minutes, they still came
Yeah.
in last
But
place.
they were over 20 minutes in the challenge, and everybody
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was
was
So
the
like under
challenge.
5 or something. So that
yeah.
was like a big
Yeah.
that was a big deal.
That was a very, very big deal. So 4 days straight of winning and then
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah, and that's what Dan's been warning about the whole time is you get these first place, but it depends on, day 9 where you're going to actually be. So hopefully they can
And
get
and
this.
I don't care what way they figured all this stuff up. If I make it to day 9 in
Yeah,
last place,
yeah,
yes,
that's
that's
gonna,
good.
yeah. Mary?
Well, I guess I do need to start keeping statistics, but I mean, they have won every time,
Yeah,
most of the time, it's
yeah,
Team Red.
four, yeah.
But how specifically have they done on the challenge? Because got
Uh,
sucked down some Facebook rabbit hole of people complaining. They just get to go to their own hometown. How is that fair? And
uh,
somebody
I
else
saw
said,
that.
"Oh, but they're not as good with the challenges."
yeah,
And so you have to be good with the challenge to get out
yeah.
of challenge
Yeah.
That's
Right.
dungeon.
right. That's
And
right. And
so
and yes, they're in their own hometown, but they that all
Mhm.
is incorporated into their time they get for the day.
Doesn't always seem to help.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well, they're
Well,
Yeah,
overall
exactly.
and it's
it did
helped.
seem to help because they had all first places up to now.
Until and
Yeah.
Well,
then it was
yeah,
the
yeah,
challenge. Yeah,
yeah.
and then the challenge did them in like Mary's saying.
Yeah, the challenge
But
didn't
the
factor in
challenge
because
is
they did
key.
so well. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean, because it was their own hometown. But if they don't do well on challenges as a
doesn't
rule,
count.
they won't be able to get out of challenge dungeon. So,
That's right.
So Mary, you're saying
Exactly.
then without
Challenge.
actually doing the statistics, you're thinking that it all kind of washes out in the wash, sort of
well,
kind of.
I'd like to know where they placed in each of the challenges because they
Okay.
might have failed. They might have been, if
And
they
I
were
don't think
third
we
in every
see the
I
challenge,
whole
see what you're
time
saying.
on the
Yeah,
challenge.
exactly.
or even fourth, and that
Yeah,
gave another team an opportunity to get out of the
right.
challenge basement, but they
Challenge
still
basement.
then, yeah, but
Challenge
then they still
basement.
were good enough to
Yeah,
Moved. Yeah.
go overall. So I'm
right.
not going to go back and watch every episode. get the statistics on how people did on the challenge, but I
Yeah.
should. So maybe
Yeah.
next year I'll try to keep
That's really
statistics.
gonna that you've got a good point though. That really makes a difference, and that's why they have the challenges because that
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
helps to even things out a
Well,
little
plus
bit
when they took
sometimes.
away strikes
Yeah,
and the timing, I think is why the strategy,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of weighs out,
Yep,
sort of.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to take an informal poll, and how many of us think that tomorrow morning, which is the next episode tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
that Michael Phillips is going to meet his daughter?
Laura doesn't think so. Laura
No,
doesn't think so. Why don't
Oh,
you
it'd
think
be
so?
day
that would be
9.
that would be so perfect,
It
though.
would. Why don't you think so, Laura?
It's just I don't know. I'm contrary. I don't know.
Is it there a couple
Or
of, are
maybe
they
you
a
think if
couple
they were
hours?
gonna they're gonna
Are they
maybe
a couple hours from where the cousin was at and Michael
I
was
just
There's
no.
about
I
they're about three
really
and a half
just
hours away. Yeah.
at 8.5?
I really just they
If
could
that was her actual home. Now let's think about
Right,
this.
That's
right, yeah.
right.
Was
That's
yeah.
Clarksville her
right.
actual home?
Yeah.
Right.
But she was there on that day, and they went
Yeah,
to the
she
place
was
the next day. So even
right.
if it wasn't her actual home,
They
That's
could have
true.
gotten her
That's true.
there.
That's true.
yeah. I mean,
They,
we did get to see airplane footage and things of something special for somebody, but I do think it's an hour-long show, and they're showing four teams' journey in an hour,
yeah.
and to win another character in their reunion
If they did
and
it, it would be really
doing it
fast.
justice, it would be hard
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. It
I
would
think
probably
they
be a
would throw
really,
in.
yeah, a
Those little
really
morning
fast.
snippets that we get to see, they
yeah,
could do that.
it's
Yeah.
no longer than taking Jonathan up in the airplane.
Yes.
Airplane. That
Well,
exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
I stopped watching little snippets.
Oh, did you?
I don't want to know what's coming.
No, I mean
Oh,
last
no. She
No,
last
when
means
they start the episode.
she means when they
I
yeah.
start
love a
the episodes,
spoiler.
yeah, yeah. And that would be great for her to show up like that, just show that they actually met and just see some hugs and stuff before the time starts for the next day. So it'll be interesting. It'll be
And then
interesting.
they could wave goodbye to Team Green. They could stand there together and
Exactly.
wave goodbye.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they could do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll see. We will see what day 7 brings, and at least we know that he knows about her now, about Kara, and
Yes.
we know that Laura, Jean, and Pam know about Kara, and they know
And
about
it's
Michael.
not confirmed yet, but
And
still.
but still, it's
I know. I know.
they wouldn't have
We're
even
grading
brought
it.
that up if relative race
I
hadn't.
know.
They wouldn't have
Right.
even brought that
And
up.
they have both of their DNA.
Oh, you know they do.
Exactly.
You know they do. You
Before
Exactly.
know.
150
What
centimeters.
timing?
Yeah, you know all that's been figured
I
out.
know.
So yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
exactly. And I think they know that we want to see that. They wouldn't have brought that storyline in. It just depends on when they might do it, but they're not going to want to go back to where
And
my
tomorrow would be the
is.
most logical, which
Yeah,
means they might be like Laura's thinking, probably not.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I got the whole thing scripted out.
Exactly.
They're going to hire you as the writer.
Yeah. Researcher, writer, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. They
Yeah.
need you. They need you, Mary, on the show. So, well, with that, there was another just such a great episode. It was so
It
these
was good.
you just
Looking
want to hug
forward.
them all, you just want to be so happy for all of them and it'll be interesting to see what day 7 does bring. So
Yeah.
maybe another relative for Jonathan, you know, Michael and Kara meeting each other and all sorts of things. So you just
We'll
never
see.
know what's going to happen. So with that, and like I said, I'll put the links for the McDonald's so people can read the McDonald's story and feel confident that one of these days their local McDonald's will be able to serve the McFlurries again. And they have no excuse now. You could say you have no excuse. You can
Yeah.
fix your machine. And with that, we will see you next time on Relative Race. And we love your comments and we love your questions. And thanks everybody for being here. And I love this panel. They keep me straight, and I love our discussions about relative race. So with that, we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.